What is this? AZ for Faze. I love that.
I think it's all about the mentality. Like, one of the big things that people don't necessarily look at in Counter-Strike sometimes is mentality, and kind of the way you mentally sick yourself going into a game is a huge factor. If you go in happy, smiling, thinking, you know what, we've got this, we can do this, I'd say you have a better
And then
chance.
you lose the pistol round, and everything's emo all of a sudden.
Yeah, then you lose the pistol round, and you're basically like, well, it's all over, guys, might as well go home now.
Yeah.
Rip the CIS streams, I guess, in some cases.
Yeah, but no, it's true. Like, the mentality does play a huge factor, confidence, and being able to stay strong when you do lose the pistol round, right? These are important things that come down to you as a person, you know, playing for the end game and not simply for the superstition of, like, oh, every time we win the first pistol, we always win. Every time we lose the first pistol, we always win. It's just like playing it round by round, and there it is, the countdown taking over. There's a crazy atmosphere in here right now.
I don't even want to narrate it. It speaks for itself. It's pretty damn badass, is what I'll say. Because now we are going to be rolling straight into this matchup. Flipside versus Faze. Map 1, it's going to be Train. We can see the buyers already rolling on in. They are running for the hills in terms of where they want to set their sights and the sights they want to push in.
Well, it looks like the bomb over towards Ivy with one other player. And 4-man setup outside. Pretty standard stuff. It seems like someone's already snuck out. That's our man Alu with the Tech 9 as well, trying to create space for his teammates. He's doing a pretty good job so far. Already wrapping into the site and getting a frag. That's going to open things up. And it looks like it's going to be a wrap towards Inner, but 3 kills come outside, so they're like, let's go up Old Bomb and just put the bomb down.
A huge flurry of frags rolling in. Well, Flipside, they are left with no opportunity to even breathe. I have even a millisecond to come out the response. 3 quick frags followed up by just a second later, the 4th. And it ended with the unfortunate death of their 5th member, leaving Flipside. Well, that was a pretty bleak pistol round, but hey, we mentioned that you've got to bounce back. Sometimes things don't go your way, and well, that's what we're looking to see. What is their options going through this round? We can see a bit of money already being invested.
No, pistol rounds are truly important, but they do have to remember that you can't always guarantee one. So starting on the TT side is a nice bonus. Losing the pistol round is pretty much the roughest start that you could ask for, but they have many rounds to look forward to come back from, and there's always the potential for an eco. Blade going down right away versus what seems like a fast outside take.
I'm actually shocked he got away with those peaks because they were in the perfect angle to be countered. Well, that he will finally respond. Feels like a tad too late in that scenario, but hey, the pistols still have an advantage somewhat in terms of the closer ranges, but then you're finally up against these UMPs who will just mow you down, shredding through that armor. Well, especially talking about armor, Shara, he's the one round remaining with armor in play, and well, good night, sweet dreams.
Yeah, they can't even deny the plant, so bomb goes down for that extra bit of money. Markelov now from the long ranges with a nice 1D. Takes down Rain. That's a huge frag. And it hurts my heart here in this crowd cheering for Flipside. I feel like it's going to be really, really hard for them to overcome their demons right now, especially on a map that they have. They might have PTSD kicking in on. Oh. Another one, though. That's good old Marek.
Credit to him, doing the work with a deal, damage being done, and that's going to have an impact on the economy somewhat, but in the long scheme of things, might not be too major.
No, I don't know if they had to recover an AK off of that, if they had enough SMGs to avoid any real economic damage. It looks like AZ right now is going to be hanging on to P250, which is kind of interesting. I always feel like it makes sense to buy a MAC-10 because you get that money back almost right away. You also have a better chance of staying alive. And if you get a second kill, you're making way more money than if you had a P250. But to each his own, Yakum's going to get the first point of contact. That's $900 on the board for him.
Just money being made. Rain looking to follow up with a second storyline in regard to this MAC-10. Rattling off the shots, won't quite connect to a frag just yet. The frags, it's not the most important factor right now. It's just about doing the damage. And eventually, as long as it leads to a frag, money being made by those MAC-10s. As we've witnessed rifles in the past, just dish out some damage. MAC-10s and sniping in and just doing the final blow as Alu, he will pick up one. Blade did manage to find a frag very much early on. It's not quite going to mean too much as JChem. I have a feeling this might be a very brutal end to Flipside trying to dish out some damage.
Doing a great job of funneling all the kills into the SMGs, exactly how they want the round to go. And this round is all but over. Waylander will happily take a fight with anyone. And there it is, the P250 losing a duel to the P2K of Waylander. Actually has the opportunity to get another frag. That matters. Though again,
he gets away with it.
Yeah, he does get away with it. Gets away with murder and hangs on to. Did he get the UMP at the very least? It looks like he's just going to drop it for the M4, and I think it was a little bit worried. Someone behind him was ready to trade. So actually, did he get killed at the end of that? He did, right?
I think he got sniped off just like seconds towards the end by the player over on the bomb train, unfortunately. So he did manage to do quite a good chunk of damage, and that's going to have a bit of an impact on its own, of course. Now we do look at the buy coming in from Flipside. It's 2 AWPs in play, respectively, on either side of the board, and, well, maybe will they start to do some damage, as they already look to be just barreling out on towards this A-site. Blade, he's going to find himself the first headshot, following up with a second on towards Rain. JK will finally answer back on towards Waylander, but perhaps it's just a little bit of an awkward one now. Zalu, he's got a spotter player towards Ivy, goes for the shot, doesn't quite connect it. Kyo now just blundering around at the smoke, going to get caught off guard by World. At Shara, doing the work with the rifle on towards Alu. Faze, a buy round crumbling to pieces. It's Flipside. Well, they've completely punished them in every aspect of the word.
Yeah, really nice run for Flipside. They, honestly, Blade getting those 2 kills is huge. That looks like an off-ride waiting to happen, though. The kill doesn't actually come out. A couple of players are really hurt, and Yakum probably was just going to look to do some damage now if possible, but may or may not find the opportunity to, as there are 4 players who can take any angle they want while he's making all the noise, and Chara's the man to get the headshot. Keeping 3 alive for Flipside, which is an enormous win. And you wouldn't expect Blade to step up that big for Flipside on that rifle round. It seemed like the smokes came out, making a lot of traction across the site, but once they didn't find a kill initially, they didn't really know how to deal with the options. They had, I don't know, it seemed like they got a little bit timid.
Seems like the outcome followed off the basis of that. Now it looks like we're seeing a bit of aggressive push coming from Shara. Has a couple of second thoughts here and there, which means he's going to be backing off back down to the bomb train of the B site. Of course, he was a solo player, but Markeloff has decided, you know, I'm going to come and support my pal. I know there's at least one player being somewhat aggressive. Now they're just going to be biding their time, playing the patience game. Blade can open things up with a frag back on towards Keo, and Blade really deserves to get some huge props currently, entering the round 2 times respectively now in this matchup. And for a player like Blade, he's a good player, but you wouldn't expect it to come from him.
No, I mean, he's definitely not everybody around him is designed to do exactly what he wishes he could do as a player, and his job is to put them in those positions, right? He's hired for his brain, and for him to just be on the scoreboard in terms of frags is making his value as an IGL that much more. Looking for another kill here. Isn't going to actually continue on with this fight. Manages to stay alive still. And Yakum's already made his way to Ivy, though. I don't know if Blade's fully aware of this. He's going to fall down behind him. And there it is, Yakum to get the kill. So now it's a 4v3. And Faze have made their way across the site. Yakum.
Well, they're just going to snack away a kill with the AWP, so he has done himself some damage, brought it back to a somewhat doable scenario for the flip side. Objective area of things is now, you can see him just lurking around Ivy. 26 seconds coming up on the clock, so we have to see a bit of movement coming up from Faze, and Shara, he's there to deny that. Cuts down Ali right where he stands. Rain will respond, and this should secure a bomb plant. Really no response able to be made by World just yet. But he gets to buy this time. He has the positional advantage. No one actually directly looking towards him. He could catch a player off guard, but he misses the first shot, and that alone could be fatal. But that's a flick on towards Rain. Catches him completely out on the upper heaven position, and now he's just looking for one player. It's all going to be on AZ to try and clutch this one. He's over towards Connector. Well, that it should have spotted him out, so he has the information to play with. But now, does he go aggressive? Does he go for the no-scope? He's peeking around the corner. He misses the shot. That is, well, heartbreaking to witness as AZ. He will make it work with the rifle.
There's a universe where he hits that shot. I mean, he had that lined up. That was really close, and I got to say, Flipside had a lot of good things going for them in that round. A couple of unfortunate trades Faze were able to take advantage of, but ultimately that 1v2 was his to lose. And now that puts them in a really bad spot. They've got to save now. Just a flash and a smoke to the names of Flipside. I'm not sure how they'll use it. Typically on the eco, you want to use your smoke to try to funnel your opponents into another choke point and stack that one. But T-Con initially has just got the smoke out to stop the fast rush. I think that's just to give the CTs a little bit more time to set up and get comfortable. But Faze are going to answer with their own patience.
You're going to pick up one already, just answering, as you say, with the UMP. And the big thing is that it's just making money. That's all they need to do now, just really bring the Skrilla back into the bank and keep on petting themselves. They can keep on buying in very extravagant manners. Zalu going to hit a very exciting shot up on towards Waylander. I have a feeling the fans certainly are appreciative of the way this one seems to be unfolding. It's a bit of a flurry of frag is going to be able to execute things towards the end of that one. This means we're now reaching that 5-1 scoreline. And the big thing I want to touch on is Flipside, they have the foundations.
They have the
foundations.
The foundations,
It's pretty tough to hear over the crowd.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of nuts how loud it is, but they absolutely do. They know how to play the rounds out. Every single round, they've got a deep enough playbook to keep it dynamic on CT side. the issue is that Faze are going to get right in their face, and I think are going to put them in a position where they don't really have too much time to contemplate what they want to do. Instead, they have to get those kills right away. And so a lot of the times, it's going to come down to just winning that first duel. The opening frag is going to be very big for them. On the round that they won, Flipside were able to get the first 2 duels because of Blade, and I think even just the opening one could make a big difference. No, it's going to be Yakem and Keo to have a UMP. This is going to work wonders for their economy if they're able to win this round. It seems like kind of a liability, though, if they lose.
Those AWPs precariously close to spotting each other out. A bit of a awkward scenario taking place with the HE grenades there, dishing out some damage respectively. Well did it knock down to 16 HP, so already stacked on the brink of death. Now it's going to be Wayland just opting to go a little aggressive. Going to be shoulder spotting out the angle. The flash will pop in. Keo there to punish him. Well did it. Also rather low still, perched on top of the train. Keo now looking to, well, go blood hungry, looking for more. Still the UMP in play, which means just more money to find as Blade he will answer back. The punishment is going to be inflicted. The M4 going to be the weapon of choice to do the damage. We find ourselves back at a 4 versus 4 with 40 seconds coming up on the clock.
Really good cover by Blade there to trade that frag. World that it managed to stay alive was huge. I like that he took that op shot as well. I mean, he might have seen the target, but even if he didn't, it allowed Blade to have someone get baited into his shot. And I don't think Keo expected him to be there. Though, now, wide peeking out of Z. He's trying to get a better position. He might be in danger of getting killed, though, and yeah, he does go down. That's also the upper, and outside completely compromised at this moment. Jacob's going to put the bomb down, and we have someone creeping up Old Bomb right now. That's Shara with the Famas, but it's a 2-on-4 situation. They've got a lot of work to do individually. There's a nice headshot to start it off.
It's a nice way to open things up indeed, but still, it's not quite done just yet. They have 3 more frags to find, and the big problem, Markov, he's a mile away, and the bomb, it's not going to stop ticking for nobody, and when you take stock of the fact they don't have any kits, it's already as good as done, and you can see Shara, he's clocked onto that one well and truly, running away to the hills of that B site, going for the save, and it should ensure they'll be taking 2 Famases.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the harder sites, probably the hardest site to retake in the entire game, and it's because these long trains that we see on the minimap, they are so difficult to work around. If you have a terrorist who wants to be hidden but find out where you are, he can easily walk around the train, and from both sides of it, will be able to defend against the afterplant.
He just dropped the AWP player off the time. That's pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's a good kill. It's kind of a consolation prize, though, at the moment. Faze are completely bought up, and their AK or their Opper is still able to buy full nades, and it's going to be Flipside to be saving their 2 rifles, moving into this round, and just going to look to try to do as much economic damage as possible. There's potential for the eco, but we haven't seen anything that would tell us that.
Bit of a bloodbath so far. Keo could be the man to kick things off. Well, that it will find himself a quick trade, but even then the positions just aren't quite there. With these pistols, the responses are somewhat lackluster. Alu going to find another JKM just to really add insult to injury on towards Waylander. Overall, the last player remaining will, of course, be Shara, the Famas in hand. Still, I think utility there to somewhat aid him. The concern here, Launders, is he has a minute plus on the board. Thankfully, the bomb is going to really cut a good chunk of that off, but still a hard amount of time to save.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy save whatsoever. There's Shara and Spawn, and they will want to look for him at a certain point. Once they realize that he's not going for it, which they should, because last round was a 2v4 and they saved almost immediately, they will start to hunt for blood. And Shara is probably going to take a first fight. This is a double-edged sword, because if he gets the kill, then that's nice. There's only 3 players left and a little bit of damage done, but they'll know exactly where he is. So there it is, and Alu finds the kill. I wonder if he stayed in Spawn, if he would have been able to save that Famas. Not exactly the most attractive weapon to save in the first place. And again, that 7-1 scoreline. I feel like we see that so often, that 7-1.
I'd say it's pretty damn common in Counter-Strike,
yeah.
Especially in this tournament. We've seen teams flip-flop backwards and forwards from the 7-1, and we haven't always seen it end in a very much of a stomping fashion. Sometimes we have seen the comebacks happen, and, well, I don't want to give up on Flipside just yet, and I feel that's partly for the sake of a competitive game, partly for the sake they have the foundations to do the work in the rounds, and also, well, you just can't take away the atmosphere from this crowd, as it will be Waylander once again to open things up with the M4, trying to repeat similar successes. The problem is late round, things begin to crumble, and they haven't quite been able to hold things together.
Let's see. They've got solid fundamentals, and I was just about to say, of any team, they're probably going to play a man advantage better than most, but there was an unanswered trade from the side of Faze. So now they can relax a little bit. They've got lots of time left even to make a decision as to where they want to go, and it's Flipside who are run kind of thin. They've got two people dedicated to inner. One of them is actually a flex rotator. He is coming in and out, can watch heaven from his position, but there's Shara to get aggressive inside, and I can understand his desperation, but Markelov, watching his back, is making up for the fact that he ended up giving up a trade that I don't think they could afford to lose.
Molotov will hold him off somewhat as the bomb has been dropped in a rather precarious position. There's still a lot of work for Markov to pull off. He needs the support to come on in. Well, they're going to be there from Connector to aid him as he will pick up a frag on towards Kia. Blade looking to repeat similar success over towards Top Dog. Not quite going to work out for him this time around.
Damn!
Easily going to find another headshot quickly on towards World. And at this point, it's all on the shoulders of Markov. He has a rifle in hand. He has the body armor there to aid him. Diving straight towards Connector. Going to be going very aggressive through that smoke. Just waiting, actually, in fact, now to play the more passive role, which I think is a better position than going flat out aggressive. But unfortunately, he's still just waiting. When we take stock of the fact there is no kid on the board, it seems to be a very big trend. He has to go. He wants to contend this one. It already feels like he's playing with the idea of just letting it happen.
This is really, really difficult because there's so many options for the, like, this is a 1v2. Any other map, any other site, he would go for this immediately, but here he's got to really wait for a mistake to happen, and he doesn't have a kit, so there's pretty much zero chance that he's going to be able to win this. The flash comes out from AZ into Z, and he gets punished for it, but Markelov has to save what he has. He does get the op, which is nice for him, but that's about it. That round comes down to AZ hitting that insane shot into Z. If he doesn't stop his strafe right there and hit his first bullet, he almost certainly gets opt, and it's a 2v1 in the other direction. But because he hits that shot, they get the bomb down, they smoke out Z and the last rotator, and they know exactly where he is as well.
Oh, a bloody recipe, and again, just as predicted, unfortunately, a difficult shot still lands, and that's the sort of something you expect to see in a professional game. And currently, Flipside, they've had a bit of a tough couple of months, should I be saying, and well, hopefully they can spell a very nice, pretty end for them in this one, as they will be looking to bring things back. But currently, Faith is starting to drip. It's an 8-1 scoreline. They do have a buy still up in this one, able to claw together some weapons, including that AWP in the hands of Wildedet, which was previously saved by Markelov. But even then, things looking like they're just getting a little rough.
Ladder control already taken. Yakum down here. That means that he can sit and watch and wait for pushes. Again, it's all about how much map control you have versus how much time is left on the clock. And there's an op frag on T side of Train. It's not unacceptable for this to happen. It will happen sometimes, but you have such a big advantage on CT, and there's a Blade trying to get aggressive because he realizes that they need to try to even up. But it might have been a little bit too careless of him, just run up the side of the Train like that. And there's Rain from the back lanes, taking advantage of the fact that they have this Ivy smoke, completely pushing Markelov into a spot where he's useless, and it's just a really solid round from Faze. Particularly for Malu, though.
Markelov, he's going to find one, but what I really want to... Actually, I'll go into this one in a second, because Markelov, he's going to be trying to make a play out of this one somewhat.
No, don't worry about it. There's no way.
I feel like I'm going to try and play the positivity card here, because he can do some damage at least and try and run towards Ivy.
Yeah.
But that provides he actually hits the shot, which, I don't know, I think what I was going to hit towards before that one was the fact that the difference between Faze and Flipside right now is purely down to, well, there are a couple other factors, but the big percentage is trades. Faze are always answering back with trades, 24/7. Rain, he's in a prime position to backstab and just dig that knife right in there. And Flipside, on the other hand, they find a frag, but then every time a frag is found on them, there is no response. They just end up waiting 40 seconds and then trying to fight.
Yeah, the goal, right, is to get the 5v4, and then from there, guarantee everything to be a 2-for-1. So if the terrorists find a trade or find a kill, you have someone right there to answer back, and so it's 4v3, 3v2, and so on. That's the ideal situation, but you can't always ask for that. When it doesn't happen this many times, though, you have to be concerned about the way that the CTs are positioned and who's really aware of what. But I love how Waylander just stood strong on that flash, decided not to move, figured he was dead no matter what, so
I think
at least he didn't make noise.
There is no positivity card to even search the scraps in this round. I don't think the pistols are...
Unless we get the Zeus, come on. Give us the Zeus, Waylander. No!
He tried.
Yes.
He tried.
Yeah, he
He's
tried.
trying to give the crowd a bit of love. It's not quite going to happen. And now we are reaching a very uncomfortable end of a stick. It's a 10-1 scoreline. The pause finally going to roll on in, and if this isn't tactical, I'm going to be extremely concerned.
Ooh, grill.
But hey, it's going to be a tactical. I'm going to gloss over that one. You know, let the stream have its fun. I'm sure Twitch chat is having its day right now. But in terms of the 10-1 scoreline, a tactical pause at this point, Flipside, their aim is going to be to pull things back to a 10-5. But I have a feeling I'd still be leaning on the somewhat biased side of the positive fence if I said that was possible.
We haven't seen anything from Flipside that's going to tell us they're going to be able to seal up these last 4 rounds. They had one round They did a great job. Blade got the 2 opening kills versus Faze doing an execute. And since then, Faze have not even bothered doing an execute. They're just like, let's go default instead, slow it down. We're individually, we're better than these guys,
They're
pound
just
for
hitting
pound.
shots.
Yeah, and they're not running. They're not throwing anything to. They're not worried about like getting 5 players out and then hoping that their smokes work out well. Instead, they're just like, Flipside are going to give us tons of aim battles. Why don't we just take them? And it's ended up working out really well for them. Seems like Flipside are using this time to just chill out. Waylander looks particularly concerned about the fact that they are down so much. This is a really, really rough start for sure. And, you know, even though FaZe picked this map, Flipside aren't bad at Train. They're very good at Train, actually. It's just that they're only very good sometimes, you know? Like 20% of the time, they're great 100% of the time.
Well, unfortunately, they need to bring their A game for this tournament, Launders, because apparently this is the best of 3, so they do have a second chance, no matter the outcome of this map. But you don't want to be forcing yourself to pick up a map. You want that first win in terms of a BO3, because it gives you the opportunity, if you do make a blunder on the second map, to go into the third fresh-faced.
The funny part is, I think the most worrying part, maybe from Waylander, is that if they got like 6 rounds on CT side, they might actually have a chance just because they're really good on T side. That is the one kind of folly of flip side. Oh, and that does so much damage. Jacob down to 3 HP. That was nothing short of a collateral. Valve should honestly just rounded that up and gave it to him because he is pretty much as close to get dead as they come. They also spotted 2 players upper, so this is going to be a strong hint that it might be some sort of interplay, but because they got that shot, can still fortify outside and not have to focus too much on the setup. I like how we have Shara pushing up the spools. This is a really good option for them. They have coverage on both parts of this, both choke points, I should say. And they don't know that they did a lot of damage to Yakum, but eventually they're going to have to shoot him, and he'll go down quick.
Shara just so dangerously close to these 3
no,
players.
no.
They're going to push on out with the timing. It's going to crumble to pieces. Markov there to answer back finally with a trade. Doesn't quite spot out the second player, but doesn't need to. Blade there through the damage for him with the rifle. And you mentioned how pivotal that low HP on JKM will be. Well, now it's a 4 versus 2. JKM going to be found straight through the smoke. Well done to finish things off with an AW frag on towards Kira.
Man, that's super worrying, though, because we had Markolov watching upper, the smoke came out, and then he switched to lower, and then Shara was in a position where he was exposed to both. So if the communication was perfect, Shara would have gone behind the spools and watched the dropout from upper, and then Markolov would have taken pot shots at whoever was coming down that ramp. But instead, Shara was in a position to just like 50-50 it. Oh, hopefully I'm looking in the right place as they come out at me, and then Markolov doing his job. It's hard to say where the communication fails, where's the gap in the communication that allows that to happen, but it's really unacceptable. I mean, they already are down 10-1 before that moment, and thankfully Markolov is able to hit another shot, do almost 300 damage on that round, but if not for that, who knows?
Well, he has to repeat similar success, should I say, as he will open things up with the first round. Rain, he's a player to be watching in this moment. He's about to dive straight on through a smoke and have a very nice impact if he lands the shots, but the answer is going to be a flat out no. Waylander, he gives him a nice little gift wrap present. Alu there to quickly trade things back, but it's still just going to be a flurry. Left, right, and center as this round swings in the balance. Walden going to pick up a very nice shot towards the chest of Alu, straight through the edge of those boxes. It's now easy. He's caught in a bit of a rough one, a 1 versus 2, but the huge advantage he has in the card yet to be played on the flip side is the fact that, well, he has the bomb in his palms.
I need to know what he does here. So he has a lot of options. He knows that both players are outside. They're expecting he's going to be there for another 10 seconds or so. So he has the opportunity to look for a kill and is actually anticipating that someone might come ladder behind him. He'd be wrong about that. And this may or may not favor them. The problem for Flipside is that they are going to assume that he might be anywhere. So they're going to take a long time to aggress onto the site if he does make this a 1v1. They both have ops. No one picked up rifles. This is really bad for their ability to move into the site. Oh, no. And he spots one upper, and he gets that kill. And now he can just stay hidden. I don't know. He's not going to assume that they both have ops, but now he spots them. World Edit, just on the side of the train, is sticking it right now and gets shot in the face. What is this? Why did that happen? Why didn't they I get maybe there were no guns back there. Two ops on a retake and allowing. Oh my gosh, that is.
This may just be hindsight, but I actually want to touch on the fact that I reckon AZ spotted out the second barrel of the AWP, and that's why he took the elevated angle on the right side of the bomb train, because it meant the pre-aim of that AWP, toggling the defuse and then holding the angle, would have been wrong.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like he has him dead to rights no matter what, right? Like he can play that however he wants, play him like a fiddle basically, and AZ put himself in such a great position to do so by getting the first kill, but it just like Flipside in an awful position to kick off that 2v1 having both those ops, lacking mobility. There's like no trade potential, which is the advantage that you have in the 2v1 to begin with.
It's just, well, unfortunately, they're breaking my heart, to put it honestly. It's not all the sort of gameplay we wanted to be seeing from them. They need to step up quickly. As Waylander, he's going to go aggressive, but it's just going to be cut down. Keo, they're the man to pull things off. Well, they're looking to repeat that same aggressive move, but is it going to work out for him? Maybe. They are actually going to dive straight through the smoke respectively, but well, that will catch him off guard. But there's the trading potential we talked about a Faze. Rain, he's there to respond. Keo now looking for one of his own to take it one step further. He's going to flick on up, but well, he's going to pop up with a huge mana. Finds two. Markle finds another one towards Jake. This is a very nice round coming in from Flipside. They will pull this one away, but it's still just 3.
Yeah, still just 3. You can see they aren't excited by it, but that was a really nice spray transfer from World Edge to get that 2K. A big reason why they were able to win the rounds. They're going to move it in this last one with still not the greatest buy ever, though actually might have everything they want apart from an op, I'm not sure. We'll see to finalize the buys, an AK. Yeah, just a full rifle buy. It's actually 2 ops on Faze, which is kind of interesting. The thing is, on CT side, there are a lot of reasons why you'd want a double op setup. It's because your players aren't going to move that much. But on T side, it slows you down quite a bit. And it seems like smokes have already come out. I'm not sure why that is. Rain running outside by himself was, I think, on 10 of getting a lurk. And there are causing the rotate. Shara, though, on the lower ramp, defending for himself, does get 2 kills. Really nice round from Shara. Well played by him, who's kind of in an awkward spot. I like the idea by Faze, but Flipside have made the most of the situation. And Alu, trying to cross late, it's down to 4 HP and is just 1-8 away from death.
I feel like at this point, Faze, they've somewhat created themselves a bit of a man-made island, but not the sort of island you want to be on. There's just trouble in paradise.
They don't have smokes.
Waiting for that Molotov to pop.
Yeah, he's fine.
I think it's going to be a
little
little bit too late.
Oh my god, whoa. Holy smokes. That was so close. Damn, they had 2 Molotovs too. They could have run the clock down in that situation. That is such a stressful. Holy crap, that was really close.
That was.
I thought the molly would take a little bit longer to kill him. I was like, oh, he definitely has this, but it really did come down to that split second.
0.1 second, and that would have been a completely different round.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we have our first half at an end. It's an 11-4 scoreline. The crowd still cheering away, chanting the names of Flipside, so they still believe. The question is, do you?
Do I? I mean, the only way I can look at it is that this score looks great for Flipside backwards.
I think we have to look at this one, as much as we kind of want to have belief and all those sort of feelings, we have to look at it objectively. And currently what we're seeing is early on in this match, we saw the foundations that we discussed from Flipside where things were looking okay. But then after a couple of rounds, things started to crumble.
Yeah, it fell apart really quickly. And it's just like, beyond all of the trades, Flipside, or Faze, excuse me, were winning in their default, which is the scariest thing for a team on CT side. Like, at a certain point, if you know a team's going to default, all you have to do is bleed them out, bleed them dry on time, and they couldn't even complete that objective, right? They weren't even getting to phase 2 of the round where you bleed them dry and then they do something. No, they were just dying at like a minute 30, right? A minute 15. And even when they would get the opening kill, as you mentioned earlier, Faze would turn right around and make it a 4v4, and then it would get ugly again.
Indeed, a very unfortunate scenario for Flipside to find themselves in. And, well, at least the one positive for them to try and work with is that they have to take this best round for me. If they don't, things can start to get even rougher for them. I mean, in terms of train, as you say, the CT side, it can be rather strong. But I don't know.
The rounds, or if Flipside win the pistol, you can bet your ass that every single T round it's going to be played out extremely slowly, and for good reason. Not because they're scared. Flipside are very good. One of the few good teams that actually playing slowly and understanding how to take map control in very safe manners and putting the CTs in awkward spots where they get nervous, which is the whole idea behind it. But they have so much reliance on the pistol right now that I think that alone gives Faze the advantage.
It's pressure just going to be stacking on their shoulders. They know they have to make this one work, and already we can see the kick in the hands of Keo. He's going to be the utility player, and AZ, he's going to kick things off in a very crisp manner. A headshot straight to the head of Waylander, and well, that's the thing about crisp shots like that is it's a great shot in itself, but it's also hugely demotivating because when you're this far down and a shot like that hits you mentally, it can destroy you. Either way, Shara, he's going to be creeping on, backed up by his teammates. Keo, this time around, going to be looking for a crush shot of own. Will rattle off a couple, won't quite be able to land them, but now Rain, he's in a perfect position to do some damage of his own, spamming away, won't quite land the shots, but Keo, he's going to do some work of his own. Alu coming in with another frag with the USB. Shara, he will find one. Shara going to make that two, in fact, but Jacob's still back on the trades, and this is what we discussed, the trades being so fruitful for FaZe. The bomb made its way down, but it's still not enough.
Yeah, and this could be at the beginning of the end. This is where it gets sketchy. The only thing that's really nice for Flipside right now, of all the things, because there aren't very many nice things, is that they have the opportunity to put FaZe in a position to buy more than they need to, because Flipside might go for a straight-up early buy right now with a smoke execute, or they could go for their AK buy next round with very few nades, and it seems like it's going to be just the full save and the latter option. But FaZe actually are still only buying UMP straight up. Which makes a ton of sense. I actually wonder how much people will take into account the fact that they're spending $1,000 on nades versus potentially saving teams, and how much they actually want to invest into that, considering they'll probably lose one or two players and use part of this $1,000 worth of utility. Like, you don't need all those nades, right? To
Yeah,
kill
they don't.
players
They could
USBs.
literally not even use half of these. And just take them into the next round. It's almost kind of a long-term stock investment, should I say, is now already one frag being found by Rain. Shara kind of looking for a bit of a commiseration. He has an advantage in terms of the position to find the frag, and he will land it. But even in the rest of his teammates, positioning-wise, I can't sit behind that. It's tough with pistols, as it is. You can look on the bright side of things in certain scenarios, but 9 times out of 10, it's fairly easy for rifles SMGs that like to mow you down. And well, AZ, he's going to demonstrate that perfectly. Finding 2, finishing it off with a USB to add insult to injury, as he will bring us full circle to 13-4.
Yeah, FaZe look extremely confident right now. Flipside looks like they haven't fixed a lot of their problems from yesterday, and this is the mind of Flipside right now. Just Flipside in the 5th dimension.
I have to say, for me, I have to ask the question of FaZe. This is, of course, if I remember correctly, their map pick. Going into Nuke, can they transition this play over? Because I look at Nuke and I go, it's a kind of default style map where you can play that kind of pick-based style, and if you land the shots, then it works.
I think we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'd actually, now I think I had originally thought, Flipside probably have a better chance on Nuke, but they have to show that they have that they have a dog in this fight, and it seems like they are not only lacking when it comes to communication and setups, but also not hitting shots.
Now already, Flipside, they have the 5 rifles. One has already been dismantled. I was kind of keen towards the position of Jacob to see if he would go for a peek, but he's playing so patiently. He knows that there really is no reason. He's just going to wait. And if anyone does come his way, it's an easy frag for him to find, easy pickings. Flipside already in a one-man disadvantage. Not a single point of damage being inflicted at FaZe so far. Looks like that's swiftly going to change, as Arlo going to get involved in a bit of a gunfight. The trade will come in from Shara, but Rain still quick to answer back, and, well, makes it 2, in fact, looking to take it one step further. This Keo will actually fall in that
I like
scenario.
how production lost FaZe. I don't blame you, man. There's no way they were going to win that round, but that's FaZe 14-4 against Flipside, and there we had the perfect example of that Blade coming out, T-Con having a full 1.5 seconds to shoot Alu coming out of ladder and then completely failing on the trade. I think he might have been partially blind too, so potentially a write-off, but these are not trades that you can give up at this point. There's just no more room for mistakes. They not only have to play perfectly, they also have to hope that FaZe make a ton of mistakes as well.
Not only just mistakes, they need economy at this point. And when you're staring down the barrel of a 14-4 scoreline, and you're still getting picked left, right, and center, and the best you can bring to the table is a mixed bag of SMGs, or even in this case, just having to save these pistols, it's just not going to stick. And you can see that just so easily demonstrated by FaZe, as they will drop them one by one. Still, the only damage being done is 6 HP on Keo by those pistols, which, yes, it was just pistols, but now, Flipside, they have gambled on one hell of a bet. They've taken all of their poker chips all into this first map on the fact they're going to have one hell of a monumentous comeback, relying on these four AKs and a single open world edit to do the damage.
Yeah, the other thing is that they didn't ban train, and they played it yesterday, so they know exactly how good FaZe are on it and how much they struggled. So that means that they didn't think that, they thought that it was a one-off performance, that they would be a lot better on train normally.
Hey, they got 2 more rounds.
They did. It is a 200% performance increase, you're right.
Yeah, learn something new, right?
Yeah, maybe next time you get 8 rounds, right? Another 200%, that'd be tight. And then you're halfway there.
Well, it's all about getting there, slowly but surely. achieving your goals. And we're talking about achieving your goals. Faze, they want this first map. They haven't held anything back so far. They are hungry for blood, just really smelling that scent and looking for those players. And already you can see the movement starting to roll in, especially from AZ. He's pushed up quite far up Ivy, and now just going to be holding this long corridor position over towards spawn. And the play he's looking for will be Markelov. But he's clocked onto something fishy going on, and we're just going to be holding that angle.
Yeah. And again, these are the rounds that we would expect to see. I really wonder if Flipside's just like started off on the T side. I guarantee they would have got more rounds than they did, even versus their CT. There's Markelov to go down to AZ, who got a little bit aggressive. That's a pretty cute off angle that he used. I think he put himself in a spot to really make that difficult for even the AK to win versus him, which is just nice positioning. And Yakim winning another duel on T-Con on the other side of the map. And there it is, the default has been dismantled.
Now just going to be staring down with the orb for the potentially what will be the last time in this map as Rain. He will pick off Sharik here. We're going to find one on towards the Waylander. Goes for a spray transfer preemptively into the smoke, just predicting Will that it will exit. And, well, his prediction was correct. Perhaps the timing was not so much, but well that it's still just 9 HP left remaining. The shot will come in from Howley nonetheless, and there you have it. It will be 16-4, 2 more rounds than they picked up yesterday, but still a very bleak scoreline for Flipside.
Yeah, AZ for Faze, just as the analyst said. Makes a lot of sense. Nice shorts, bro.
Throwback to the phrase throwback to the Faze cute comes to mind, I guess, from what you just referenced, so yes.
Cute shorts, bro.
You got to have some sense of fashion if you're a professional Counter-Strike player, right?
That's true.
It's a key thing on stage quite a lot, you know, got to represent. It's all about personal branding.
I think it's it's all about comfort too. You got to have the shorts on if you want to perform.
You can see every team here, they have their eye on the prize, that trophy, and it's a nice trophy at that. It's been held by a fair few teams in the